Yes.
Okay.
So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam
warahmatullahi
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
So, my group is group number 2, and we will presentation about file system implementation. First of all, I will explain what is file system implementation. File system implementation is defining how the information system should be built, or in example, physical system design, ensuring that the information system is operational and used, ensuring that the information system meets quality and standard, example, and quality assurance. The next is the concept of file system implementation. The file system implementation consists of file allocation, which means the main problem in the evaluation file is the recording of the blocks used the files. Number 2, recording the space. It means free blocks that have not been used on the disk must be recorded so that blocks can be allocated on the files that require them. The technique for the recording blocks can be done by 1, bitmap, and the last is hook list. Number 3, shared files. Shared files is a file that is not only referenced to one directory, also by one other directories. The file management system is no longer a tree, but a non-circular directed graph. And number 4, reliability of system files. Data damage is more expensive than hardware damage because it is a loss that cannot be replaced if you don't have a copy. So we need to back up the system files. The next presentation will be served by my friends.
Yes, the next is why must the file system implementation in operation system? Because file system implementation, if implemented into an operating system, can determine how files and directories are stored and how storage space is managed.
Okay, um, I will explain here about the allocation method. So, the allocation method is the way the operating system arrange the block on the disk to be file by file. So here the block that is on the hard drive will be ordered by a file that later files will occupy the block. There are three types of allocation method. Number one, contiguous allocation or sequential. Number two, link allocation or relate. Number three, index allocation or indexing. I will discuss contiguous allocation first. So in contiguous allocation, the files are stored in order. The point is, we see in example, file count has start in block 0 with a length of 2, meaning that the file count will order an exciting block from 0 or 2 block. It is the same as a list file that starts at block 28 and is 4 block long. So the file list will fill in block 28 to 31. It will be sorting block. This access is simple mode effective for small file. The disadvantage is that it requires a lot of space, so files cannot expand. The second is linked allocation. This linked allocation is different from the sequential one because it will collect all the exciting block using order index. So in linked allocation, it cannot access randomly because it has a start and that depends on the index that it encounter. For his access, it would support sequential access. That files that will be obtained will be sequential. For the drawback, as I said earlier, it does not support random access because it has a start and end that happen on the index encoded. The third is index allocation. Index allocation is an allocation method that actually developed from linked allocation. Well, linked allocation cannot have random access, just like this index allocation, but different. there is one block that is specially from storing other index in the block. So this one block does not store file, just save the index which will point to the block that contains the file. The answer is that is a solution of the problem of what mentioned or the previous problem, namely the problem of random access. The shortcut is that the index block is too small, not enough to store large or large files. I think that's enough for explanation about allocation method. The next slide explain my friend.
Okay, I will tell the next point is about how the procedure of the file system implementation. So when a new file is created, a new FCB is allocated and filled out with the important information regarding the new file. I will tell about a little info about FCB. FCB is a file control block, also called a file descriptor, is a type of data structure that is temporarily allocated by a computer operating system to maintain the status of data file that is being created or or otherwise manipulated. Okay, the appropriate directory is modified with the new file name and VCB information. And then when a file access during a program, the open system will read in the VCB information from disk and store it in the system-wide open file table. An entry is added to the per process open file table referencing the system-wide table, and an index into the per process table in return by the open system call. And then the Unix will refer to this index as file descriptor, and Windows refer to it as a file handle. And the next, if other process already has file open when a new request coming for the same file and it is shareable, then a counter in the system-wide table is incremented and the per process table is adjusted to point the existing entry in the system-wide table. When a while is closed, the per process table entry is freed and the counter is the system-wide table is incremented. If the counter is 0, then the system-wide table is also freed. Any data currently stored in memory chief for this file is written out to disk if necessary. Okay, so the next point, my friends will continue.
We will file system implementation concept division. A file system implementation will be needed if you or the user want to do some activities that place your operating system. Computers store data on disk using file, which are structured in specific ways in order to allow for faster access, higher higher stability, and to make better use out of the drive's available space. Next, example of example of file system implementation. From the picture beside, we can see then the straight line that extend from the disk space is the disk or the entry disk, and B, C until E is a MBR atau or master boot record is used to boot the computer, and the defining line from A B C to with partition table, which is mean table is present at the end of MBR. This table gives the starting and ending addresses of each partition, and from the uh, a, a, sampai strip A partition table, it can be filed with boot blocks and super blocks. Boot block, when the computer is booted, the BIOS read in executes the MBR. The first thing the MBR program does is locate and the active partition read in its first block, which is called the boot block, and execute it. Program in the boot block load the operating system contained in the partition. Every partition contain of the block, the beginning block in does not contain a packetable operating system, and super block it contain all the key parameters about the file system and is laid into into the into memory when the computer is booted or the file system restarts browser. Then for
I think that's all for the presentation. Is there any questions?
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. I
Yes,
have
sir.
a comment about your presentation. I think your presentation in your group is very nice.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you.
okay, because for the member of the group have uh, participate explain about your presentation, and I have two questions for your groups. And the first question is about uh, what is the relation between the quality assurance and file system implementation? Can you explain me about that?
Excuse me, sir. Can you repeat the questions?
Okay. What is the relation between quality assurance and file system implementation? Because in the first slides, you have the statement about the file system implementation, yeah, is about also is talking about the quality assurance. So what is the relation between them?
But the information quality assurance.
Okay.
Quality assurance.
Translate ya.
Okay.
and
Can
Hubungan
you explain?
hubungan antara
In the first slide, for example, you have a statement about the quality assurance, and please uh,
the relation.
yes,
Relation about file system implementation and quality assurance.
yeah. In the first in the first slide, in your
Yes.
slide, okay,
Yes.
in this uh, sentence, okay. For example, uh, you describe about the quality assurance, okay, in the last of the sentence, okay, in the
Yes.
last in the sentence, you are talking about the quality assurance, and my question, what's the relation? What is the quality assurance in here? So you can get the quality assurance as the example.
Just
Okay, please answer the question, the first question.
yes. Excuse me, sir. So I think that the answer is the quality assurance is maintenance of a desired level of quality in service or product. So the relation with file system implementation, that the quality assurance that serve that is using quality in a service and its product. So the file system implementation must be important, that that quality assurance always have relation with file system implementation, because the
Because
or product
mhm,
service or product which system should be built, like the first sentence.
mhm,
And after that, so the service or product in quality assurance can meet the standard that should be that will be needed to the product. I
okay,
think that is the
it's mean
answer.
before you take file system implementation in the OS, for example, or
Yes.
operating system, you must uh, meet about the quality standard. It's true
Yes, it's
okay.
true.
Because the file system implementation cannot be implemented into a system that's not good quality. Okay, it's true. Something like that.
No, sir. I think it's not like that, because the product from the quality assurance can be implemented with file system implementation, so that the product can be meet the requirements that
Okay.
they should be needed,
Okay.
so that the service is
Okay.
can be consistent, I think.
Okay. Okay. The first question is good. The second question, can you explain me about the difference between you can going to the next slide, please. Next,
Yes.
next again, next. Okay, next again. Okay, stop it. You can explain me. Can you explain me about the difference between the contiguous allocation and linked allocation? Allocation.
Sorry, sir. Linked allocation and
Contiguous
Contiguous.
allocation.
mm,
What's the difference?
uh, okay.
Because in your slide you just only show about
Yes.
the contiguous allocation example, but
Uh,
cannot explain about the linked allocation and
Okay.
index allocation and what's the different step between the contiguous and the linked.
mm, According to me, sir,
Okay,
for continuous allocation, it's the uh need start blocks and the length. So if
Yes.
the start from one and the length until the length value length is three, so the is fill blocks in the one, two, three, and the linked allocation is need ini ini start
Start.
first block to
Yes. First block and
to
end block.
to 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 link at the another block. So if
If linked allocation is not support random access, it's not like contiguous allocation.
finish. The others member, if you want to add the answer of your friend, you can explain to me. It's enough for your answer.
Mm,
I think that's enough, sir.
that's enough.
Okay. Okay. Okay, I think finish for the question and your presentation. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
your
sir.
presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And you can close
Thank you.
your
Thank you,
presentation
sir.
before
Thank you, sir.
going out from this meeting. Please close your presentation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Okay,
sir.
sir.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
So I think it's the end from for our presentation. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam.
Good night, sir.
Okay, please call the group 3 to
Okay, sir.
join. Okay,
Thank you,
thank you
sir.
very much. Bye.